So I'm going to do a video about pain, okay? The reason why I've been getting a lot of backlash around pain and how people have been just skewering me because of pain and all that stuff. Because I have figured out how the system gets people to act in a specific way. Like there are directives that are embedded in sentences through the English language. So what I've seen is pain is used as a method of control and not a barometer of imbalance or a barometer of balance. Okay, so this whole thing with corporal punishment, the whole thing with the justice system, with positive and negative reinforcement. Okay, well, negative reinforcement, what is negative reinforcement? When you are applying pain to a situation to get somebody to move in a specific direction. And so when you've been raised by people who use pain as a method of control, that is already a pre-programming at the earliest years of your life. You have been taught that pain is something that you must avoid. You must anesthetize. You must take out whatever is causing the pain. You must behave in a different way so you don't get the pain. And so that's, and so with the J juice, we are not running away from pain. We are understanding pain is a barometer. Pain is really a hormone that lets you know when something is not correct and you have to change your behavior. Not because someone else is telling you that you have to change. It's because it's not following the laws of life. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing. When you're raised by parents or by people who are walking you across the street, well, they don't want you to be hit by a car to learn pain that way because you might not survive those lessons, but they might swat you on the butt. Okay? And so when you get swatted on the butt because you didn't look both ways across the street, that kind of pain saved you from a lifetime amount of pain or potential death. But then there are other ways of where when you touch a hot stove, that pain lets you know, don't touch a hot stove. Okay? And so pain definitely has its place, and how people use it definitely has its place. But we have overused the mechanism of pain. We have abused the power of pain and turned it into a weapon against humanity. Because like anything, there's a balance, right? We don't want to not use pain as a way, as a barometer of balance or imbalance, because you don't want your kid running across the street without looking both ways. Okay, so if you swat them on the butt, not too hard, but enough to get their attention, that's okay. Obviously when you train a dog to do something, sometimes a little swat here and there, which I don't love. But sometimes, a little what I do if I want to get my dog's attention, because she's so tunneled on something, is I kind of do little pokes to the side of her belly, and she gets it, but it doesn't hurt her, and it's just kind of just gets her attention, but it doesn't really cause any lasting damage. Okay. And so some people will say, okay, we'll use pain, but we won't leave marks. I've heard someone say, well, yeah, beat your kid, just don't leave marks. I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. You don't want to do that either. And so, each kid and each, person is different on how they are taught and been able to shape or be able to conform to our society. But we have to understand balance and what it's used for. So I'm right now getting clarification in my head how pain should be used. And it is a barometer of life and death, but it should not be used as a method of control for you to destroy yourself even further. And so when the system has inflicted pain upon you for whatever reason, and then your solution to the pain is the system's solution to the pain, that ought to scare everybody. Okay, so how does the system inflict pain to where they give you the solution for pain? Well, my gosh, when you're taking prescription drugs or when you are taking out organs, they've inflicted pain on you, and then they have a solution for that. Oh, here's an antibiotic, here's a painkiller. Okay, they're not swatting you on the butt, telling you not to look, and telling you that you must look both ways, because you already went through that with your parents. Okay? But now when people are trained in the whole behavior modification with pain, it's now through how they deal with their body, mind, and spirit, the cancer, disease, and chronic illness. And so I'm going to have to figure out how to talk about that where I'm not discounting the role of pain because it's there for a reason, but the abuse of using pain as a behavior modification has been abused or has gone overboard. Because when there are imbalances in the body, mind, and spirit, kids act out. Okay, so now here's some clue. Like, I don't have kids, right? But I used to be a kid. I know exactly. I mean, I know exactly how some parents raise their children because I was raised as a child. You know, swats in the butt, humiliation, all that stuff is a behavior modification that some parents use on their kids, but it could bite you in the ass. You do it to the wrong kid. And how do you know what the right kid and the wrong kid? Well, if they don't learn from your swatting on the ass, you got to do something different. But some people only know of corporal punishment. They only know of beating up their kids, not, beating, but some people do. People only know of beating up their dogs. I know someone in my world that I'm not too thrilled with that they keep having dogs dying in their family. And we know that they've kicked their dog before. That's insane. That's when people take abuse and pain modification type of behaviors and they take it to another level that shouldn't be there. And so that speaks to imbalances in that family, imbalances in that person. And that's why you're seeing, domestic violence and child abuse happen in many families because of the fact that people have taken pain behavior modification to another level, to the extreme. Okay? And so, with the J juice is like, we are now using pain as a barometer of where we are. Okay, and some of you have a higher pain threshold, some of you have a lower pain threshold, so it's going to take you longer to heal because you don't want to feel as much pain. And so we are now recharacterizing the pain hormone on what it means to be in pain, why it happens. You're not being raised by anyone. No one's trying to do a behavior modification on you to get you to act in a specific way. Yes, when you have gone through the system and you have issues because of operations and whatever, that's their behavior modification, that when you have pain, you go get their painkillers, which then degrade you even further. But we're not doing that. Now you have a choice. You can listen to the system's behavior modification, or you can understand and embrace your adaptation process, which could be painful, but it's not forever. Okay? And so yeah, I need to really clarify in my head how I'm going to write about this to where it is about balance and why we would use pain as a modification tool, behavior modification tool, and not necessarily to get someone to program them, but for you to understand the weaknesses in your body and to embrace it and then reverse it. Like, you understand that you have these imbalances, and that you take responsibility for it, and now you're going to take responsibility for reversing it. And it's going to be painful, but you will figure out the best way how to manage that where it doesn't completely undermine your intention, which is to actually heal. Okay? But we have to understand how pain is used in our society, and then how it is being used to modify behaviors and to get people to act in a specific way, such as separating their money from their wallet and giving it to somebody to stop the pain. Like, all the therapies are all about pain modification or behavior modification through pain. I mean, therapy is they bring up the pain, right? And then they have a solution through their behavior modification techniques. And sometimes it takes drugs. Sometimes psychiatrists will be like, okay, we're going to bring up the pain and then we're going to deal with it with drugs. And that's not the way of the J juice. And then people are messed up, or even more messed up. Okay? And sometimes you don't need the drugs. Some therapists figure, okay, well, she doesn't need drugs, but she needs, some other type of therapy. Whether it's, a type of mind control where it's withholding. Some people use withholding love, withholding attention, ignoring, There are ways to mind control people into a behavior. But remember who it is you're doing it to. It can bite you in the ass. Okay? And so there are a lot of techniques out there that psychotherapists use as well as psychiatrists to control a population, to get them to act in a specific way based upon their intention, to have you assimilate to the environment even though you are not a whole person. Because anytime anyone goes to therapy or goes to a doctor, they're not a whole person. They have issues. And they're thinking that this is the answer. This therapist has the answer. This doctor has the answer. Well, no, these therapists and these doctors have chaos within. All they're doing is managing your symptoms. But the end result is you're going to die. But hey, that's the accepted thing. So whenever you manage your pain in an anti-life way, the end result is death. Okay? And so you have to see those connections. So, all right, bye.